Oh,
Well, good morning and happy Tuesday. We are in the last few days of February, and friends, spring is right around the corner, and I'm so thankful for that. And we are springing into this new chapter this morning, chapter number 66 of The Little Things Matter, 100 Ways to Improve Your Life Today by W. Todd Smith. And I hope that you will all just continue to wake up with us and join us Monday through Friday right here on the telephone, old school telephone, at 8:15 Central Time, 9:15 Eastern Time. And we're diving in, handling difficult conversations. Chapter number 66. I just shook my head and laughed this morning. I said, chapter 66, and handling difficult conversations. But you know what? We're going to be able to handle this, folks, and we're going to dive in right now. Delivering unpleasant news, correcting misunderstandings, confronting a friend or family member, and dealing with hard-to-talk-about issues are the kinds of conversations most of us dread. They're a part of life, however, and we can't avoid them. Although you may never be totally comfortable in these situations, there are a number of things you can do to make these necessary talks as productive and painless as possible. Even the most challenging conversations can lead to an improved state of affairs for all involved, if handled correctly, calmly, and with respect. When you practice the art of handling difficult conversations, your interpersonal communication skills improve, your ability to influence others grows, and so does their respect for you. Todd gives us 10 guidelines to help you confront challenging situations. Number 1, choose the right time and place. If you are initiating the conversation, consider the emotional climate. Don't hold the conversation when the other party is upset or angry. Man, we have a story to tell about that, don't we, Jaimie? Respect his or her privacy by minimizing the chance of being overheard. Whenever possible, have these conversations face-to-face. Anticipate that you may not be on the same page. This is number 2. Different perceptions of intent, interpretations of the facts, and judgment about what is right or best are usually at the root of all sensitive conversations. Keeping this in mind limits surprises. Remember, what may be logical to you may not be logical to others. Number 3, use a respectful tone. The tone in which you communicate is as important as what you say. Speak calmly with kindness and respect. Your tone should reflect your willingness for a good outcome, which increases the likelihood that your message will be received in the manner in which it was intended. Number 4, genuinely desire a win-win outcome. If you begin the conversation with the intent to win the other party to your point of view, you'll often be disappointed. Instead, aim for a compromise or resolution that satisfies your goal and meets the needs of the other person. Number 5, be empathetic. Try to understand the point of view as well as the emotional state of the other person. Ask questions to learn their perspective. Understanding the other party's position helps you make better decisions regarding how to address the situation. I have found that in most cases, the other person is aware of what happened and usually accepts responsibility to correct the situation. When you show genuine interest in understanding the other person's side of the story, you are more effective in resolving the matter. Number 6, maintain eye contact. As in any constructive face-to-face communication, maintaining eye contact helps you gauge the receptivity of the other person through the conversation and demonstrates your interest in what is being said. Number 7, stay in control. If you express anger, it is natural for the other person to respond accordingly to match your emotional state. If at all possible, don't begin the conversation until you're in control of your emotions, and then do whatever it takes to remain calm. Number 8, write it out. If time permits, it is helpful to put the details of the situation in writing. Include what you wish both parties to achieve. Doing so gives you an opportunity to consider all views and nuances of the situation. Taking the time to properly prepare for any important conversation yields better results. Number 9, don't interrupt. When the other person is speaking, never interrupt. Show the other person the respect you want to be shown when you are talking. In addition, don't appear to be anxious to respond. People who can't wait to speak generally aren't listening because they are so focused on what they want to say. And number 10, don't team up. Avoid saying things like, everyone in the department feels the same way, or I have heard about this from countless people. When I hear these kind of statements, I immediately discount what is being said because in most cases they are exaggerations. If there is an issue that needs to be addressed, resist the temptation to strengthen your position by including others. If the issue is so serious that you need to bring others into the discussion, make sure they are present. And I'm going to turn it over to Jaimie to share before we get to the challenge. So, Jaimie, what do you got this morning?
I love it. And so many times I've heard those things and, it's, this or everybody's doing it kind of thing. And I think when you really boil this down, it's just like everything else. And I guess I probably say this every time we get a chance. It's just the little things. The little things are the big things. So having those hard conversations, they're hard because they're really meaningful, and they're hard because, many times as maybe in a position of influence or leadership, or even just in a position of kind of leading yourself to really stand up for yourself or have that hard conversation. It takes love, compassion, and then, like Hollie said or he shared in the book, it's authenticity, like the reason for having it, right? And so, I wanted to take a different approach and a little different perspective on this, because immediately when we read this chapter last night, the thing that I thought about was just a story from when I was playing professional basketball in Germany. Hollie was there, and she had come there. She was a rowdy crowd member, to say the least, which was awesome. And here's the thing, always been the best cheerleader I've ever had. But I can remember a time early on, when she would shout at me from the stands because I wasn't doing some things that I should have been doing. I wasn't hustling. I didn't get a rebound. And she would shout, and it probably wasn't the most productive, hard conversation to help me to be better. I would stop in the middle of the floor and pick up the ball and put it under my arm in the middle of the game and shout back. So we would have a shouting match in the middle of the game, and if you can only imagine, long before much personal growth for sure. I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure that Hollie would concur. But nonetheless, it was. She meant the most for me, meant the best for me. She was trying to help me, but it was bad timing would be a understatement. How the message was delivered was certainly not the best. It was met with expletives from both ways. And so here's the thing, though. When I thought about this, I thought you have to have someone that you allow to have that kind of influence in your life, to have the hard conversations. And you have to be willing to humble yourself to know that we all need help, and we all need someone that can speak into us. Because while I was overseas, I ended up, we won a championship. I walked away from basketball to be a father with scoring 32 points and 14 boards and 8 assists. And those are all big numbers. But I could have never done it without Hollie. Now, she never scored a point for me. I know a lot of folks, like, they cheer for their team, but you've never scored a point for your team. Doesn't matter what end of the couch you sit on or how much you yell. No one scores for you. And that's the same way in life. You've got to do it. But because of that, Hollie and I have learned to communicate, obviously, much, much better. And, it's been such a great help. And I wouldn't be the man I am today, obviously, without God's grace on a sinner like me. But a wife that's always prayed for me, always spoke life into me, always saw the best in me, even when maybe I didn't see that in myself as well. But I've always given her permission in that way to have those hard conversations about whatever it may be in life, and we've mutually done that. And it's also been a thing that allows us in those other ways. But I wanted to share that story because many times you might say, hey, I'm like Jaimie, I'm standing in the middle of the field, just, put the ball under my arm and just start screaming back when somebody's trying to have a hard conversation. Now, they might be delivered the right way, because I've also done that when it was delivered in the right way. But they might be delivered in the wrong way. And so see yourself in both of those situations or both of those circumstances from both sides, because having the hard conversations, as he said, is going to produce fruit in both sides if done properly. So this is such an important chapter, and many people will just avoid it, and not just from the side of having it. I think we can always have the perspective of, I don't want to tell this person what they need to do better. But do you ever think, like, maybe, just maybe, you're not perfect either?
Absolutely, and what a great story that was this morning. It brought back a lot of fun. I'm putting that in quotation marks in the air. Memories. We have definitely learned those conversations better together. I like to remind Jaimie that he thinks I didn't score any of those points, but by golly, in my mind, I was scoring every single point that he scored and every rebound he grabbed down. I was right there with him doing that. At least it felt like it. And so what a great example of just, learning how to have these hard conversations. And we talked about it in the form of a story and basketball, but, most importantly in life. And I hope that, as you go throughout your day and your week and your month and your year throughout your life, that you give yourself permission to have these hard conversations, especially with the people that you love. And, I can't help personally but think about having, difficult conversations, and I put hard conversations, / difficult right up there with my boys. James and Charlie are both on here this morning, and we had a chance to talk to James yesterday about this chapter, and we were laughing because when James was probably, I got to think back, I believe he was about 7 years old, 7, 8, we started to have a conversation with him about, how he came to be, how he was made, so to speak. And it was a very interesting conversation that we had because it was awkward, right? I wanted to do it right. Jaimie and I wanted to do it right. It was awkward, but nonetheless, we wanted to be the ones to share with him. We didn't want him to hear it from someone else. And so we had that conversation early on with him. And then when he was 13, we took a coming of age trip together, and we gave him a ring to wear. And, we said, hey, this is the point of this ring. We want you to put it on if you want to. This means that you're going to save yourself for your future wife, and we want you to put this on. And we took a whole trip together just with him, and then we invited some of his friends and their parents down to really, like a rite of passage for him. And the whole conversation, I think it was, we went to Tennessee and we rented a cabin, but the whole conversation, the 6 hours, was really us just having those difficult conversations, allowing him to ask us questions when it was just us three together in that car as we were driving down to that trip. And then once we got there, allowing some people in his life, our really good friends, to speak life over him and to have those difficult conversations with him as well, that he knew he could always go to them as well as Jaimie and I if he needed to have the hard conversation. So I want to encourage you, whether you have children that are young or your children are older, it's never too late to have these conversations. And I just want to encourage you today to really do that. And then, like Jaimie said, allow people, give them permission to speak life back into you and have those conversations with you as well. And so I just hope that you have gained something from this chapter and from us this morning and our funny stories, and we hope you'll continue to join this call Monday through Friday at 8:15 Central Time. So we'll open up the lines. We love you all. God bless you. Have a great day.
All right. Love you all. Appreciate you. Let me
Thank you.
There we go. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Beautiful memories. Thank you from God.